This is where we're going to be entering the counts that we're anticipating moving forward to the grand jury with. These are obviously not the final counts. They're going to be necessarily voted on. They might be. You might be adding additional counts in. You might be taking counts out. The idea at this point is that this is the best estimate as to what you're proceeding with. And the other important thing with this is that this is going to be the basis for doing your instrument later on. So whatever counts you've created in here can be utilized for creating the instrument later on. So you could save yourself a little bit of time later on by just picking the counts that you initially determined to be going ahead with in the ProsMemo. The left-hand side of the screen is the bucket where the counts are going to be placed. The right side of the screen is where everything's going to be constructed. I'm going to hit the Add button, and what you're seeing is an incident section, defendants, charges, a comment section, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, and information as to accomplices. At this point, we're dealing with count 1 over here, and we're working with all of the information that we have from complaint typing affidavits. So basically, all of the affidavits that are associated with these defendants, the dates are listed, the defendants, obviously, the charges of those affidavits are listed, and one by one, count by count, you'd be constructing and using this information. So we're saying on the first count, we're happy with that date. We're going to use that. But this first count's only going to apply to Crum. We're saying that there is a accomplice, and it's one accomplice. And we do that here for the purposes of the instrument later on, because that would help us construct the language. We have all the charges, and for this charge, this count, we're going to say that 195.05 is what we want to charge the first count. At this point, you could look at the instructions pertaining to that count if you'd like by hitting the View Instruction button. And up come the instructions that you would be presenting to the grand jury. And we'll talk a little bit later on about the workflow and how that is made available for you to print. I'm going to hit save and do a new count. So again, this freshens out. Now we're on count 2, that date. This time both defendants. This time no accomplices. We're looking at our charges and we're missing one. We don't have a charge that we're interested in. Let's say we don't have Penal Law 140.15. What I did was hit Add. And I see the two subdivisions of 140.15. I'm going to pick this one. Hitting Save. Now 140.15 is down here and is already checked because I just added that. The other thing to note here is that the hate crime button or box is enabled. So if you feel that this is a hate crime, you could hit that, and the language in the affidavit later on, in the instrument later on, would reflect that it's a hate crime. This time I'm going to put a comment of X, Y, Z. So for now, I don't have any additional counts. So I'm just going to hit save, and what you have here are the two counts. Now, suppose I want to reorder the counts, or I want to just verify that I have it in order of seriousness. I hit the reorder button, and then I just can say order by severity, and it's shifted around. So that way the ProsMemo would reflect the highest charge first. Suppose this charge here, this incident here, is going to be repeated on another 5 counts. I could make my life a little bit easier by saying that I'm going to clone count 2 5 times, and they are distinguished, those counts, by the charges. So I'm not going to include the charge in the copy here. I'm hitting apply. So I have these additional counts 3 through 7 that now require a charge. So I just go into that, hit edit, and I say that. I say that. I say that. That. And that. So I've constructed the additional charges pretty easily by just copying them. So that's something to consider if you feel it's going to save a little bit of time. Some people might find it confusing, but it's a tool there if you'd like. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to delete those additional counts just for the purposes of moving on. I'm going to delete that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. And I'm finished. I'm going to hit done, and I'm ready to proceed.